Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness down the river of tranquility to fill the lake of life with love.
And good evening, all of our fellow lovers out there. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're running late. I didn't get everything finished. Set it up. But that's becoming usual these days, I suppose. In the hustle and bustle of Christmas time, and I've got keyboards and stuff still in front of me. Hustle and bustle of Christmas and all that, I suppose it's not uncommon for all of us to be feeling a little rushed, right? This time of year.
Yes.
People can feel rushed, can feel a little stressed. It's supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, but oftentimes you can feel depressed or overextended. So let's remember that it's a time of year to spread love. It's not the gift itself, it's the thought behind the gift. It's that someone thinks about you is what's really important, and that you think about other people and you try to express that in some way. It doesn't have to be some big extravagant gift. It doesn't have to be necessarily a traditional gift at all. Just express love, and if someone expresses love to you, accept it. Yeah. Take it for the spirit of which it's given, not the spirit of which you think you wanted. It's my advice for Christmas. So,
expectations can be such a killer.
Yeah, we set ourselves up for expectations, and we want certain things. We have an expectation of how Christmas goes, and because it involves other people, those expectations are likely to happen, for both good and bad. Sometimes if you have a bad expectation, you might actually create that. So drop your expectations and just enjoy the moment. Enjoy the time you have with people, because it's been a difficult year for a lot of people. Every time I turn around, someone I know has someone passing, and so let's take this time of the year to be thankful for those people we have in our lives, because you never know what the next year will bring. Could bring great joy, or could bring great sorrow. For most of us, it's somewhere in between. But be thankful for where we are.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, my love, what do we have on tap today?
Well, we're going to start out with 10 interesting facts about Christmas.
Facts about Christmas?
Yes.
Does Christmas actually have facts?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's go. What do we have about facts about
Okay,
Christmas?
the first one is well known. Christmas has been celebrated for 2,000 years to mark the birth of Jesus Christ. However, long before Jesus was born, the middle of winter has traditionally been a time of celebration. It's a celebration in the middle of winter to lift everyone's spirits. That's what it was for. And in the United States, Christmas has been a recognized holiday since 1870. An estimated 2.1 billion people around the world celebrate the holiday in some way. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's celebrated in UK, Europe, and the US. Also Brazil, China, India, and Nigeria.
Christmas puddings originated in good old England, carrying filling mixture on their journeys.
Hunters.
Yeah.
Carried filling mixture on their long journeys, yes. And in the 1700s, the rich cake was only eaten on special occasions. And then over time, it became a Christmas food. Now, I have never had a Christmas pudding. Have you?
No, not that. Well, maybe, but I don't know. Don't remember. So I've had lots of things over the years that I don't remember. So, obviously, I didn't like it or I wanted to get. So I don't know. Maybe you have to ask my mother. First Christmas card was printed in London, 1843. Even though medieval wood prints with seasonal themes were produced in the Middle Ages.
How'd you like to get that?
Yeah. Here's this piece of bark with scratches on it, but it looks like a reindeer. I don't know what it would be.
How pretty. Nearly 2 billion cards are sent in the UK each year. I wonder what it is in the US. I do about 50 every year.
Father Christmas, based on St. Nicholas.
A 4th century Turkish monk who gave gifts to the poor.
Was banned in the mid-17th century England by Cromwell, of course. It was banned in Boston, obviously. Being fined 5 shillings.
Anybody who celebrated. That's what a bah humbug.
Yeah, no kidding. But, everybody has their right. Anybody, you get these, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, so we'll move on. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, so we're going to get up and move it.
Okay.
Norway has given Britain the Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square every year since 1947. Old England, a pig's head with mustard was a traditional Christmas meal. Okay, then.
It was the custom of putting 3 coins in the Christmas pudding originally represented the wise men's 3 gifts.
So you're gonna. Good thing we know about germs and stuff now. The idea of Christmas stocking comes from a story of St. Nicholas filling old socks with gold for 3 poor sisters. One of the largest stockings was made in London in 2007, 32 meters long. It's like 100 feet long.
And you expect it to be stuffed? Santa knows when people are being greedy.
I'll stuff it all right with coal. That's what you get it stuffed with, coal. Of course, that's just a marketing gimmick, right? It should make the world's biggest stocking or something. It was. I don't think they really expected it to be stuffed by Santa Claus. Maybe gifts for the poor or something like that would be my suspicion if I wanted to go and look that up. Which I don't. So I'm going to give it with the quasi best of intentions. We used a marketing gimmick to help the poor or something. Would be my guess. Otherwise, it would just look bad. And no one's going to do it just to look bad. So you make this big, huge stocking, and then you fill it with gifts, and then you take those gifts and give them to the poor. And everybody wins. Right?
Well, that works, yeah.
Yeah. So let's hope that it was something like that more than some pure greed thing that was something more stuff are far too. My God. Second week in a row, can't talk. Far too used to. Okay, so what's next?
20 tips to ways to reduce holiday stress with self-care.
Well, and as we talk about holidays, it's stressful and, it's busy and stressful and the road conditions are often, more treacherous, and walking conditions are also more treacherous and you're distracted. So it's all very important to maintain self-care. So you're more present so you don't have less chance to have an accident when conditions are,
Yes.
not ideal.
Yes.
And, the wintertime conditions are not ideal. So, take care of yourself. But also, your emotional health is a reflection of your physical health. Back and forth, it works both ways. So you have to maintain your physical and your mental and emotional health to become the balanced human being we all want to be. And now is a time of year where you have to watch all 3. Right? It's the time of the year for flus and colds and it's a time of the year for stress and reflection, and then you got to deal with family that you might very well love to death, but you don't necessarily want to spend time with them, and you know how that goes.
Well, there's always a lot of emotions and baggage.
Yes, and people pass, and so at all times of the year, and so you may have some stress associated with a past trauma that just happens to have around this time of year, and it just brings it up. So there's all kinds of reasons to be careful and to manage yourself during this time of year. So let's go back over to that. So what do we got, Lubby?
Okay, number 1, let it out. Have a trusted friend that you can talk to, or someone, someone you trust, maybe a family member that is a safe space to vent, and be your sounding board.
Yeah, make healthy choices, which we've just talked about most of the time, right? Sometimes breaking the health choice is the healthy choice, right? Having the extra cookie, that's actually a healthy choice because you're not stressing over, ooh, should I eat it? Yeah, it's Christmas time. You put on 5 pounds, it's fine. You just have to go on a diet for January. It'll be good. It's enjoy the time. Still manage your portions and all that. Be careful not to overdo it, but indulge yourself a little. Enjoy it. But don't overindulge.
3 portions is a little too much.
No. If you have to undo your pants after you've eaten a meal, you probably overdid it, and you can probably skip the second piece of pie on that day. But if you're still hungry and there's some pie, go ahead and eat the pie. I'm just saying, if you're having to cram it down and feel ill afterwards, you've probably gone too far. All right. Which brings out this number 3rd one, which is to
carve out time for self-care. Take time. Make the time. And carve out 10 minutes in the morning for yoga video.
Yeah, or 20 minutes at night, whatever your time is. Just make sure you schedule it if you have to. Put it on your flipping calendar if you're someone who's overscheduled. Schedule an appointment with yourself if you need to.
That's a good idea.
So, if that your life is overscheduled, well, then take advantage of your overscheduling and schedule time with yourself. Make an appointment with yourself. Call it a doctor's appointment if you have to. Meditate is one of the ways to do it.
A lot of great apps out there with guided meditations. You don't have to forge into this alone, or if you want to forge alone, there's some great books that'll get you started.
And one of the things, if you're a religious person, extra prayer can often act as meditation.
Yes.
So if you're a religious person, add some extra prayer. It's fine. However the goal is to become aware of yourself so you don't become someone you don't want to be. So whether that's through meditation or prayer or whatever it is you do, aggressive recreation. There's some people who go out there and have aggressive recreation to release stress, and I'm probably on the list. Yeah, the
next one is be active. Yeah.
Well, we just recite affirmation.
Recite affirmation.
And then it's be active. So, pick and choose which one of these works for you. But so, just be okay that meditate, be active. There we go. Don't be afraid to say no is an important one, right?
Yes. We get into too much doing during the holidays. Our time we stretch ourselves too thin.
Yeah, so make sure you can say no. It's okay. It's okay to say, I don't have time for that, or I'm too busy, or I'd love to, but I can't right now. It's perfectly acceptable to tell people the truth. And that goes along with get enough sleep. Sleep is a reflection of your health, or reflects your health. Reflect is the wrong word I'm looking for there, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But
impacts.
Yeah. So anyway, getting enough sleep helps your immune system, which helps your stress and all of that very good stuff. Stay hydrated, which is always a good one. Drink a glass of water or water-like substance, and if you're feeling stressed, it doesn't hurt. It never hurts, right? If you drink too much water, well, to a point, you can actually drink too much water over a short period of time.
You can.
But you kind of actually have to deliberately do it. But just stay hydrated. You'll be fine. Take your vitamins if you need them, or eat better balanced meals. Make sure you get your proper diversity of vitamins intake. Limit your alcohol consumption because, well, quite frankly, alcohol is... it may make you friendlier at parties, but it's a negative on a lot of other aspects from your life. So, limit it. A glass of wine after dinner and that kind of stuff is generally fine for most people. But go past that, be careful. That's what I would want to say. Right. As with all things, moderation in all things, right?
Yes.
That's the key. Take action. Procrastination. I am the procrastinator. Major source of stress and anxiety.
I am the planner in the family.
She's the planner, I'm the procrastinator, and together we somehow get things done in a reasonable amount of time.
We do.
I just don't know how it works.
I don't know either. But somehow it magically happens every time.
So there's that one. So take action. If you're a procrastinator, maybe you'll want to, procrastinate a little less. Maybe put that self-imposed deadline a little sooner. So, it's okay. Those deadlines are imposed on yourself. That's right. I got to finish that by Christmas Eve. Well, maybe move it to Christmas Eve. Just say, as I look in the mirror to that one, maybe I'm just saying, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to move your back a little bit. Just say, move it up. Give yourself a little more time at the other side so you can enjoy the season a little bit more. Don't feel so rushed like we do apparently every day here before we start the show. Which reminds us you can find the show at latenightlove.us if you want to send us a love letter, letter of love, whatever the heck we want to call it. You can send it to love@latenightlove.us and we will answer it on the air, maybe. You never know. All right, so what else we got?
This I don't necessarily like this next one. It says breathe and smile.
Well,
okay, deep breaths in and out. Yeah, center yourself. Sure.
Yeah, but it doesn't solve anything, does it?
No.
But if you are feeling stressed, take it a moment to slow yourself down, slow your head down, and it doesn't hurt. But you're actually still going to have to go back to number 12 and get active if you're feeling stressed, or get some stuff off your plate. Right? If the length of your to-do list is too long, maybe you need to shorten your to-do list.
Or budget some stuff for after the holidays.
Yeah, or...
Day after Christmas, you got a couple days off. It's going to be a weekend.
Yeah. Pamper yourself. There's be intentional, which are both kind of this, right? Just be careful. Be nice to yourself. Pamper yourself we've already covered. You're just being duplicative.
Well, this one says a relaxing massage, manicure.
But that's still self-care. It's just ideas of self-care. So
True. Okay, be intentional. Ask yourself what's most important to you during the holidays.
Yeah, and focus on that. If what's important to you. Oops, I gotta get over here. Yeah, so just, strategize. Focus on what's most important to you and, shorten your to-do list on everything else. Make a budget and respect it because, nobody wants you to be broke because you bought them a trinket.
Yes.
People who love you wouldn't want you to do that, so don't. Ask for support if you need it.
Some people need some help.
Yeah.
during the holidays.
Or I'm going to go back to, if you've got too much on your plate, just take some stuff off. You've put most of that on there. You can take most of it off if you need to. And that's one of my suggestions is, your plate is still filled. So you just have to have strength to say, no, I'm not putting these things on my plate. Wrap up a few of these topics in one. You need the strength to say no, to not put stuff on your plate so you don't feel so stressed through the holiday.
You do that beautifully every year.
It's probably annoying to people around me, but I don't get stressed out. Take a break from the social.
Well, we enjoy the holidays differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Make a holiday gratitude list. Personally, I love gratitude lists, and I use them when I get in a funk, and it pulls me out every single time.
And this last one is actually, you could have buckled down this whole dang list to one, to be honest. If there's one piece of suggestion that this whole list actually kind of encapsulates, is just ditch the perfection mentality. You've created this expectation, and which is create half your stress, which puts half the stuff on your to-do list. Which means, so just stop it. Let the world be what it's going to be. The world is a wonderfully beautiful place if we allow it to be. And oftentimes, the problem is we don't allow the world to be this beautiful place. We try to control it for reasons, I don't know, because we think we would control the outcome when we can't. We want some semblance of control when all we can really control is ourselves. You're the only thing you can actually control. The rest of the world, you just kind of have to let it do its thing. And it's actually quite beautiful if you allow it to be. Stop expecting so much from the world, and it'll deliver some beautiful things to you. It's already delivering beautiful things to you, but because you're expecting something else, you're not noticing them. So that's my suggestion. Slow down and enjoy the things that you have. Notice the things that you have. Don't worry so much about the things you don't. People ask you what you want for Christmas. Say, don't know. Tell them you want love. See what they get you. Anyway, what do we got next? We've got a few minutes.
We have great Christmas conversation starters.
Uh-huh.
Now,
All
there's
right.
150. We have it up on the website. If you need some more information, we're not going to be able to cover 150.
Good Lord, we wouldn't want to, because y'all would tune out after about 5. So.
Okay, that's true.
Maybe 10 if they're
Maybe 10,
if we're
right.
good at if we're really good at presenting them.
Okay, I don't like this first one. What's the best gift you ever received, and what made it special?
That's a little personal.
I know.
All right. So, what are some activities you do only at Christmas? Food.
What's a Christmas food you'd like to remove from the Christmas dinner table? Dude, nothing. Mincemeat pie.
Who gives the worst presents in your family or friends? Man, these are rude questions, is what they are. What's your favorite time of day on Christmas? All right.
Were you told Santa Claus was real? And if so, do you remember how you found out he wasn't? This is so depressing.
Hell if I know.
Who's a nightmare to buy for at Christmas? Oh, dude.
Yeah. Now, this is a good one. What do you prefer, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or Boxing Day? Like if you're in the UK. Because people in America go, Boxing Day, what's that? We don't know what the hell Boxing Day is. Isn't Boxing Day the day after Christmas?
Boxing Day is the day after Christmas. It was originated in Britain when the servants would be given the day off after Christmas. So, and they would get boxes of food.
The Christmas sweater, the worst Christmas sweater you've ever seen, is a good one. That's a good or you own. That's a good conversation for like Christmas conversation.
Really, that's a good one.
Why some of these are just needlessly confrontational. Telling children Santa Claus is real is basically lying to them. What are the moral problems surrounding this? Well, you're not, because Santa Claus exists in anybody who participates in Christmas, so therefore Santa Claus is real. We've just give us this symbol as Santa Claus to symbolize this spirit. It's not that Santa Claus is real. Santa Claus exists in anybody who gives gifts. That's the trick. You know, the jolly old fat man who comes down the chimney is just a symbol. It's not meant to be taken literally. It's called artistic license. To teach children about the spirit of Christmas. When they're old enough to know that Santa Claus isn't real, they're also old enough to know that the spirit of Santa Claus is.
In our family, when the child is told, they usually come home from school. That's what's happened to everybody in my family so far. And pose the question to the parent, is Santa Claus real? They say Santa Claus isn't real. Well, Santa Claus is all of us. And now you're in on the secret. This is great. Now we get to do it for the little kids. You're a big boy now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you get to become.
Now you get to be Santa Claus.
Yeah. Now you're part of the magic. That's how it works. That's how the magic works. So, what are your favorite Christmas movies? Now, these are discussions. We should actually snag a few of these questions for our Christmas Eve show. Just to be honest.
It's a Wonderful Life.
I don't have a favorite Christmas movie.
Too bad. We're watching some on Christmas Eve.
Yes, I know, which is why I don't have favorite Christmas movies. But what are your most embarrassing Christmas moments? Those just rude questions. Leader of your country? What the hell?
Who in your group would make the best leader of your country?
What kind of a Christmas conversation is that?
Do you have a favorite specific Christmas decoration?
What was your favorite memory from your last Christmas? Oh, there are a lot of Christmas. This one might be all right. There are a lot of Christmas traditions that people don't do so much anymore, such as hanging mistletoe, singing carols, and dancing. What would you like to bring back?
Singing carols.
That's probably the good one to bring back. Yeah, actually.
Mistletoe is aggressive.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be. I've never known anybody who actually paid attention to hanging mistletoe. People hung it up, but no one actually forced anybody to.
I always had guys come up to me at Christmas parties and put mistletoe over this head and go, "Oh, now you gotta kiss me."
See, I think that's the difference between the 9 years difference. You know how much changed between people who grew up in the 70s and people who grew up in the 80s. There's a difference. That stuff just didn't happen. I don't know. I don't know if it's true. I mean, perception bias and all that. So maybe it just be the people I hung out with didn't do it. You know, it could just be that. And people hung mistletoe, but it was for decoration, and no one used it for you must kiss me. Now couples would be all gross underneath it and stuff, but it wasn't. It wasn't a thing. And no one can hang mistletoe over your head. That's not the same thing. You have to be goofily standing under mistletoe for it to work. Anyway. All right, so what's next?
Creepy.
I don't know. Yeah, someone walking around with mistletoe in their hand dangling over people's heads is creepy.
Okay, you want to talk about this at a dinner party? What does the idea of getting presents from Santa Claus if you're good and coal from him if you're bad? Tell us about society's views of morality.
Well, if you're bad, you get something useful, and if you're good, you get a trinket. Coal you can burn for heat. Just saying. Coal has use. I suppose an extra pair of socks does too, but depending upon, if your house is cold, you may want that piece of coal. especially back in the day where people heated their houses with coal. A lump of coal is just not a fun gift. It's still a useful gift. It still has value. It's just you don't get to do anything fun with it. You get to heat your house. You get to cook a dinner, whatever it is. Doesn't mean it's not value. You still got value out of it. He still gave you something with value. It's just not fun. Just not flashy. But you're still going to be warm. Okay. What's we got next? Christmas period, fictional characters. You know what? It's 9:30. It's time to switch to the stuff.
Oh, it's 9:30.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and move over to the... We need like a sound for when we go over to Lubby's Reddit question.
Ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding.
Yeah, I've got a tool here to do it. I just didn't load any sounds in it. And it's not
I
like
have
that.
a Christmas bell
Christmas bell.
that I rang Christmas morning.
Uh-huh. Okay, then. Don't ring at Christmas morning. We don't have children, man. We don't need to get up in the Christmas
I
morning.
wait till you wake up.
All right. Our cat likes to ring the bells on the Christmas tree, which is, I don't know if it's annoying or hilarious. Anyway, so that's our first question.
Okay, we're going to start questions with parenting. Okay, my son, 14, wants a very expensive soccer ball for Christmas. Specifically, the official match ball of the World Cup, $165. He's pleading for it, saying it's all he wants. I'm afraid he will be disappointed Christmas morning opening only one gift. We wouldn't be able to afford anything else. What would you do? Well, I think he's 14. He's old enough to deal with one gift on Christmas morning if that's all he wants.
It's not the one gift. I'm personally not spending $165 on a soccer ball that just because it's got the World Cup logo slapped on it. I'm just not. But that's my cheapskate self. So, I wouldn't do it. I might get him something from the World Cup, a T-shirt or something, if he wants the World Cup, and then get him, something that he's going to find more useful over time. Because in a sense, you're going to be right. He's not going to be disappointed Christmas morning, but sometime in February he is, because he's not going to want to go kick around and play with that football, with that soccer, right? But that's all it's useful for. And once you take it out the package, whatever value it had is lost, and so that's why you don't buy those things. I couldn't do it. If I was poor and I could only afford the one gift, I wouldn't spend it on what is essentially a marketing gimmick. But, your child, and you have to make these decisions. I wouldn't do it. I'd buy him what I would want to buy him. Buy him something else. Just because he says, sometimes you got to get them what they really want, not what they think they want. The World Cup's a big, huge thing right now. It's going on. It's a big fad. He wants the World Cup. I get it. In 2 months, he's not going to care. So, if you want to get him something that he's going to care about in 2 months, if he's a gamer, get him a Game Pass or something for Steam so he can go buy his favorite game. Who knows? Something that's going to last more than 2 months, I would suspect. But
That's good advice.
But he's 14. He's old enough to deal with his disappointment. If you have a habit of getting him what he asks for, then give him what he asks for. And sometimes that's the way the world works. He'll learn his lesson for next year. Okay.
All right. My 11-year-old stepson gets out of bed every night after we put him to sleep. He runs around, gets into candy, and steals the electronics, trying to play games all night and God knows what else. We hide them in closets, hide remotes, turn off Wi-Fi after 8 p.m., but he's still running around all night. He found his advent calendar and ate all his candy from it. How do we get him to stay in bed at night?
Don't put candy in an advent calendar. That's how you solve that one. What you've got is someone who's a natural night owl. And there's in a sense, all you can really do with that is adjust to it. You're never going to force a schedule. So maybe your bedtime is just a little early for him. That's my suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you maybe need to reconsider his bedtime, that you're asking him to do something he physically can't do. And then, but if you're going to do that, extend it a little time, but create some wind down time. You know, he has extra energy. You're going to have to figure some way to burn it out. You know, don't know what it is. He might be one of those kids who needs to go to karate class or something, if for nothing else, just to burn energy. Right? Got nothing to do with karate. Just get him out there to burn some dang energy. He's got extra energy, so burn it. But clearly, if you're not getting him to bed at 8 o'clock, then 8 o'clock is too early. He's not ready. And so the question is, do you want to fight this for the rest of his teenage years? Or are you going to start, working with it?
Make some rules for him. He has to stay in his bedroom. He can stay up. He can read.
Or even let him play some stuff.
Let him play some video games.
For a little while. All right, you can stay up till 9. If you can go in there, as long as you're quiet, you can play video games till 9. As long as you're quiet and calm down and start going to bed. You give him start with an extra half hour, and see how it goes. Where he's got some wind down time. It's kind of our suggestion.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Okay. I have 2 preteen girls and Christmas presents to start in the budget this year, but I don't want them to feel bad or take it negatively. Also, any advice on how to assure Christmas is still special anyway?
Well, when you have these tough Christmases, what I always had to do was I explained to my children up front that we didn't have, Christmas this year. But I was still going to try and get them something. It was just going to end up coming in January, February. And I would make sure I got it happened in January or February. And it doesn't have to be, again, we go back to what the very beginning of the show. It doesn't have to be big things. If all they open on Christmas is some, a collage. I have somewhere right here, over there, the best birthday present I've ever had. And it's simply a card made by my daughter and my acquired daughter unit, we'll call her. It's the best birthday present I've ever had. It cost them what, $1 for the poster board and some time. It's the best. That's the best present I've ever gotten. It was a birthday present, but it's because they took the time to tell me how they felt. It's not about the gift. It's not about what it is. It's about that you do it. So you can still do something for them. You can still have Christmas. You can still go see the Christmas lights. If you have one of those free, like down here in our town, they have this place where they give a free light show every 15 minutes. And so you can just go down and enjoy the light show.
Churches have drive-through nativities.
And you can always sign up. I know I work at a community center, and they just had a drive-through Christmas where they gave out Christmas presents. Go find some of those. If you have them, just because your Christmas doesn't involve bought presents, doesn't mean your Christmas doesn't have to be abandoned. You're just going to experience it differently this year.
Yes.
It's still magical. And, you never know what happens. Just be honest with them, because the disappointment will come if they're expecting something else.
Yes.
So, okay.
All right. I'm scheduled to have kidney surgery tomorrow. My ex has known since April. He lives an hour away from our kids' schools, and he decided that the kids would just miss 2 days of school while I'm in the hospital, since he did not want to have to commute that early in the mornings. Am I asking too much?
I'm confused. The kids are going to miss 2 days of school while you're in the hospital. Okay.
Because he doesn't want to drive.
Yeah, but the kids aren't going to learn anything in those 2 days anyway. Those kids aren't going to be able to concentrate on school for those 2 days. There's almost no point in having them go to school. Why would you ask your kids to go to school when their mother's sitting in the hospital with a kidney after a kidney surgery? That's what I don't understand. Why would you expect them to? For my kids, I'm giving them the week off. They're not going to school for a week. They're dealing with more important things. Whatever they were learning in school, they can learn in school. They can relearn. Now, maybe his reasoning is different than mine, but I don't understand why you'd want your kids to be in school in that stage. I don't understand it. It's not where they should be. All right.
Okay. Need some guidance. My wife and I are new parents and we're at a large family party. Everyone was excited to see our 6-month-old daughter, first kid. Several people held her. My wife was clearly uncomfortable and walked out for a while. Is she overreacting?
Well, yes and no. Is she overreacting? Yes, but is it perfectly normal for a new mother to overreact in that situation?
Yes.
Yes. So both of these things can be true. So honor her feelings. But you notice she just walked out so she could not overreact. She actually knows she's overreacting.
She knows she's a little sensitive.
So just, I don't even know if you necessarily have to talk about it. You may want to at some point, but there's nothing to do.
Well, you could give her an attaboy for handling it well.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that you have to know your relationship to know how to deal with this at this point.
That's true.
Because sometimes it's just a bit late. It's best to let sleeping dogs lie, and other times it's best to say, "Hey, I appreciate that. How emotionally uncomfortable you were, and that you dealt with that. It's appreciated. You can let her know that. So, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly normal. It's mother's instinct, and and there's some truth to it, right? Germs and
Yes.
and all kinds of potential sickness, and back in the days
where it comes from. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's perfectly normal, and it's perfect. It's okay, and she dealt with it the way she should. So, congratulations. I guess.
Yeah.
Y'all doing all good. You're doing good. All right. So what's next?
Relationships.
Woohoo!
We have been dating for a month. I want to buy her a Christmas present, but have no ideas. Help. A book, my friend.
A book's a good one. Because, this is actually, you don't want to get something too personal because you're too early in. But you don't want to ignore it because, if you're interested in having it go farther. So something like a book, that... And of course, the question with books is, are you buying... It's not as easy because you don't know what she's interested in. And so are you getting something for her that's, to share some part of you? Hey, I like this book. Maybe you might like it. You said something you like that you think maybe she might like.
Get her Lord of the Rings. Who doesn't like Lord of the Rings?
She may have it. She may not like it.
Get her a special.
I don't like Lord of the Rings.
Who doesn't love Lord of the Rings? What are you talking about?
It's bloviating, man. You could short that book by half and tell the exact same story. It's just awful. It's like they just want to use words. I swear to God. Get to the point, will you? The movies are even worse than the books, so don't get me started. Those things drag on like nails on a chalkboard.
I don't know you at all.
Yes, because you like them, so I don't say this stuff toward you until you ask me about them on the air when I have to be honest. I get to sidestep the questions in real life, but here I have to actually answer them. I can definitely sidestep the questions in real life because they're long and cumbersome. Rely too much on pretty graphics and not enough on this thing called character development and story.
Lord of the Rings doesn't have character development.
No. The characters are the same throughout the whole thing. They don't actually evolve. But that's a whole different discussion we'll talk about in next year. We'll talk about that kind of thing next year. What's next?
How do I, 32-year-old female, convince my boyfriend, 30-year-old male, that I like his belly? I think it's adorable.
You're not gonna, so stop trying. Because he thinks you're just humoring him. So stop. It's not whether you like it or not. He doesn't like it. So that's the thing. All right. Let's put it this way. Let's flip those things. If you had a belly that you didn't like, but your boyfriend thought it was adorable, what would it make you feel?
Self-conscious.
That's my case. Just saying. If you think it's adorable, quietly enjoy it. It's my suggestion. And support him if he ever wants to get rid of it, because it's probably healthier for him. All right.
Okay. I'm 32 and my husband-to-be, getting married in 6 months, is 34. He enjoys going out to the pubs with his friends, and throughout our 10-year relationship, I was always gone too far with his drinking. However, he has now started to get drunk and wee all over our carpet. He goes out about twice per month, but drinks to the point where he cannot speak properly and cannot remember anything in the morning. How do I get him to stop peeing on the carpet?
Tell him to sleep somewhere else when he comes home that drunk.
Send him off somewhere else.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You want to go out and get pissed drunk with your friends, that's fine, but you're going to sleep with one of them because you're not coming here peeing all over the goddamn house. But he's got an alcohol problem, man. He may want to seek some help. That's the real answer to that question. That's alcoholism, even if it's only twice a month.
I was a weekend warrior.
So,
yeah.
That's alcoholism. Routinely drinking until you're blackout drunk and peeing all over the carpet is this thing called a big red flag. With lights inside and flashes. And the only thing it's not is a bullhorn. So, now whether you can get him to deal with it or not is an open question because he has to deal with that himself. But the immediate solution is to tell his drunk ass to not come home until the morning. All right, what's next?
All right. My boyfriend and I are both 21. Before coming into our relationship, he knew I wasn't a Christian. I'm Buddhist. He also said if I was ever willing to become a Christian, at which I said I wasn't sure and I need time to think about it. I'm Thai, and Buddhism is strongly tied into Thai traditions and culture. He said okay, and still proceeded to ask me out. We have been dating for a year. Now he says I have to convert or we break up. I'm a good person. I don't understand. Why didn't he tell me this was a deal breaker?
He actually did. You just didn't listen. And he didn't want to admit it as strongly as he does now. But he did. Told you right there at the beginning. That was his ultimate goal. It wasn't as clear but as it should have been, but it was clear enough that I can see it. It's hard to see when you're in it, but it was a thing.
And you're young. That's where you go, is this a deal breaker?
Yes, and,
you asked the question.
Well, he shouldn't be asking you to convert or your relationship is over. That means your relationship isn't built on respect for you as individuals. It's built upon social pressures, which is never a good thing. And so, you're young, move on. Some things are a deal breaker. Not every relationship's going to end in rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes they just end. Yeah, no hard feelings.
Yeah.
You enjoyed the year together and you come across it, no, there's reasons it can't go long term.
And now you know this about yourself, that this is not something you would consider.
Yeah, you already know, because you find that his asking you to convert is too far. And so the fact that you think it's too far tells me that it's too far. And listen to yourself. Just it's time to move on from the relationship.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because if you do any other way, it's going to become toxic, and you're either going to resent him or the religion, or it just move on before there's any hurt feeling. And don't try to understand it, because it's not logical. It's not about logic. All right.
All right. What if you love someone more than they love you?
Then you love them more than they love you, and you have to make a decision what you do.
And doesn't love kind of ebb and flow?
Well, it can, but there's sometimes it's fundamentally true that you love somebody more than they love you. And maybe you love them more than it's possible for them to love. And so maybe you have to accept that. Or maybe they love you in a way that you just don't understand. And you're going to have to learn to understand that. But, is it enough for you? That's the question. It's just like the previous, in a sense, it's the previous question. It's you have to make the decision on what it is you want. Do you need more love back? Some people don't need as much love back as other people do. Some people need a lot of it. There's nothing wrong as long as you find the partner that gives you what you need. So, my guess is you're probably not happy, which is why you're asking the question, which probably leads you to the answer ultimately that you need more back. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with giving all of your love to somebody you care about. There's nothing wrong with it. Just means you're open to hurt a little more often.
Unfortunately.
All right, what do you got?
Okay, we have work.
Yay.
How do I respectfully leave my job of 7 years?
You respectfully leave your job of 7 years. You tell them, hey, I've got a new opportunity. I appreciate all you're doing, everything you guys worked me for. What can I do to help the transition? And you do that and you leave. People do it every day. Some companies don't handle that well, but that's on them. You don't worry about their behavior, you worry about yours. And then you do everything you can to leave with dignity and help the transition. I'm assuming after 7 years you have some important part. You're not just a cog in the wheel. Right? And if you're just a cog in the wheel, then you turn in your 2 weeks notice if you so choose and you leave. It's not a marriage. You don't need a divorce lawyer. You just have to behave.
Honey.
You just have to behave like a rational human being. And say, I've got a different opportunity. I appreciate all you've done for me. And what can I help to do to smooth out the transition? Train your replacement as best you can. Document what needs to be done best you can. That's all you can do. All right.
Okay. Boss is unsure she wants to keep me post my probationary or not. Should I quit?
Well, if you can find a different job, then yes. Now, it may not be you. It may be economics, right? But either way, your position is uncertain. So if you feel your position is uncertain, then you should be looking for other opportunities. So should you quit? Not necessarily, but you should be wary. Or you also might want to figure out why she's not wanting you there. And you're not culturally fitting, or is the job not for you? Do you not have enough training? Whatever it is. Yeah. Or is it economics? Maybe, when they hired you, they thought the economics was going to be one thing, and now it's something else. And that position is tenuous. It may not have a dang thing to do with you. Okay, what do you got?
All right. I was fired because of something I didn't do. Can I file for unemployment?
Yes, you can file for unemployment if you're fired. That's what it's there for. And they can make some claim that it was justified, and they'll argue it over with the unemployment office, and you see what happens. But yes, you can file for it. Whether you get it or not, it depends on circumstances. And But generally speaking, if you're fired, you can get unemployment. All right. What's next?
Okay. Would I be in the minority or even cynical for thinking this idea of startup culture is more on paper than it is being practiced?
Cynical? Yes, you're a bit cynical because startup culture. The problem is when you talk about startup culture, you're talking about what the media portrays as startup culture versus what is really startup culture. Those are not the same thing. Startup culture is not what you see on TV or movies. It's not what it is. Startup culture is, a group of friends getting together and having a band. That's a startup culture. A group of a family who opens a McDonald's. That's a startup culture. The startup culture isn't this tech world where people come in, get a bunch of venture capitalists, and then try to start a company that way. That's not how much of it works. That's just what the media likes to show us. Most of it is just average people putting their mortgages and their houses at risk to start a business. That's startup culture. And that's what we don't see. Okay.
Okay. I took off 9 vacation days at my job because I was going to lose them soon. Should I get a part-time job during those days?
Well, you could sign up for a delivery service or a gig service or something like that if you want to earn some extra money. But my suggestion is if you can afford it, to take the days off. For the love of God. I get it. Some people can't sit still. Well, then do stuff around the house. Fix up your house. Spend the time working on your house. Spend the time working on yourself. For the love of... No, I would suggest, unless you need the money and you need some extra income or whatever, to just take the days off and enjoy the time off. That's what I would do. That would be my suggestion. But if you need some extra cash, sign up for some of the delivery services or something that's you don't feel tied to when your 9 days are over.
Okay, we have time for just a couple sex questions.
All right.
Is it okay to have sex with your wife when she's totally drunk and wants to?
Well, she's your wife. That's actually one of the few people you can have sex with when she's totally drunk and she wants to. Just saying. It's questionable, right? Whether you should have sex with a totally drunk woman you meet at the bar. You probably shouldn't, right? You shouldn't. It's kind of best not to. But your wife comes, completely ass drunk and drags you to bed. You should probably go to bed with her. I'm just saying. You call that marital benefits. I don't. Why are you asking?
Apparently someone was feeling a little guilty.
Well, and I get it because, you're single for 30 years. You get into a marriage and now all of a sudden you've got this. You've been taught your whole life you don't take advantage of people who are that drunk. And now all of a sudden you're in a position where you're not taking advantage. It's part of the relationship. That's what happens in relationships. She feels safe to get completely drunk with you and woohoo, go have some fun. Just be careful because the bouncing around can make your stomach upset and you can end up with, just
puke.
Yeah, just be careful.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a better word than that, but okay. What's next?
Is it okay for couples to have meh sex sometimes?
Well, it's going to happen, so you might as well be okay with it. You're not always going to knock your socks off.
You're not going to hit it out of the ballpark every time, dude.
And sometimes one person's not as in the mood as the other person. It's just the way life works sometimes, and it's okay. And quite frankly, most of your sex when you're married is probably going to be more meh than not. Not because it's bad, just because it's routine. You actually, just like anything else, when you do it a lot, you can get good at it. And well, what used to be good sex now is meh.
Really, In your single days, you would have been killing for this situation.
Yep. now good sex is
Meh.
So maybe if you're thinking like that, is just reframe your perspective a little bit on that one. You know, maybe it's not as mad as you think it is. It's just, you know, routine, and mad and routine aren't the same thing. Do we want to do one more?
No.
No? All right. Lubby doesn't want to do one more, so we are going to be out of here tonight.
Oh, wait, I do have one more.
All right.
I'm traveling for the holidays for a few weeks. My new boyfriend asked for a used pair of my underwear to have while I'm gone. Never had anyone ask this before. Is this normal?
Well, is it define normal when it comes to sex? Is it within the range that people do these kinds of things? Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. Done it myself. Yeah.
So, you know, it's, you know, how it affects you want to participate in it is a different question, right? If it makes you too uncomfortable, then you don't participate. If you just kind of want to throw one to the wind, knock yourself out. You get to make that decision for yourself. Is it so strange that you should feel, you know, what's going on here? No. You're well within the perfectly range of what human sexuality considers normal-ish.
Quote unquote normal.
Go to Japan. They sell those things in vending machines. So, you know.
They do.
It's not that normal. So, you know, it's a cultural thing. And, hey, he wants to remember you. So, if nothing else, think of it that way. He likes your scent. So
there you go. It's a compliment.
Yeah, it may be a little strange, may feel a little strange to you, but it's a compliment. Maybe you can get okay with it if you think of it that way.
Yeah.
All right, and that's it. We've got what 2 more shows before our Christmas Eve, right?
We got one more show.
One more show. Well, 2 more shows this Christmas, so next week, and then we've got the Christmas Eve show, which should be fun.
Yes.
Don't know what we're doing yet, but we're
have no idea.
We'll come up with something.
Yes.
Maybe. And then we've got the week after that. We've got New Year's Eve again. Or is it New Year's again? No, we didn't do New Year's Eve last time. But we've got a New Year's Eve show. Because if we do Christmas Eve, that means we do New Year's Eve.
Sweet.
So, New Year's Eve show. That should be fun. Because we go at 9, which is midnight East Coast time. So we go at the drop of the ball on the East Coast. On New Year's Eve. That should be a good one. Should be fun.
Yeah.
We shall see what happens. We'll see what we come up with for that show. All right. So for me and Lubby, give me the right mouse here. I want to thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Love those you love, and please remember to love everybody.
Good night.